Well, I just finished making dinner for my family, but it's just for the family members, not the wives. That's how it goes sometimes. But that's okay. I'm feeling really happy inside. I looked at my husband and father-in-law, and they both nodded in agreement. It seems like the perfect moment to let it all out. I'm fine with eating the meal I prepared. Oh, wait a second. I was rummaging through my bag and found something. Here it is, a letter. I'm Brielle, by the way. I married my husband Asher when I was 23. 3 years later, our son was born and we've had a happy life together as a family. After our child was born, I went back to work and we've been trying our best to raise him. But one of the biggest challenges in my life is my mother-in-law. She's, well, let's just say, not easy to deal with. My husband always takes care of her, but when we were newly married, it was tough. My husband is the middle child among his siblings, and he's the only one who's married. The others are still enjoying their single lives. My mother-in-law has always been the center of attention in the family. She considers herself the Madonna of the family, ruling over all the males. It's not easy to deal with them, believe me. So, when I came into the picture as the only daughter-in-law, my father-in-law and other siblings started paying more attention to me. However, I was seen as some sort of imaginary enemy by my mother-in-law. I can't believe Asher is getting married, she used to say. He always said he'd marry me, but Asher stood by my side, which I'm grateful for. He's always supportive, but sometimes he doesn't notice the situation like I do. For instance, during meals at his parents' house, my mother-in-law never lets me help in the kitchen. Even when I offer, she insists I stay out, and the food she serves always looks the same, but I'm not allowed to assist, so I don't know what's in it. Once, I unknowingly drank a soup full of tiny fish bones, and it made me sick. Another time, she served a dish with too much bitter garlic, and it was awful. Despite this, my husband is there for me, always speaking up for me. But sometimes he misses the subtle signs of trouble, like with the meals. Are you all right, Brielle? He asks when I start feeling unwell. I think I have a stomach ache, I reply, and that's how it goes sometimes. Ugh, you don't like my cooking, do you? My mother-in-law's accusation made me uncomfortable. She said she's not feeling well. Stop it. My husband intervened. Maybe she's just pretending to be sick, my mother-in-law retorted. I don't think so, I said softly. Hey, stop. Don't treat a sick person like that. My husband scolded his mother. It's impossible, isn't it? My mother-in-law huffed. Fine, you're all on her side, she exclaimed. We don't mean that. My husband tried to calm her down. I made dinner for all of you, so what's wrong? My mother-in-law questioned, hurt evident in her voice. Don't worry, I'll eat it all, I reassured her. No, you. Suddenly, my mother-in-law's outburst startled me. What's wrong? Why are you shouting? I asked, puzzled. It's just. My husband hesitated. I can't let you eat something that's been cold, he finally admitted. Don't worry about it. I tried to stop him, but before I could, he picked up the plate of meat and potatoes in front of me. What the heck? I exclaimed as my husband dumped the food into the trash. What is this? Vinegar? It tastes so different from. I began, remembering similar incidents. It happened before, my husband confirmed. What? I was shocked. I was served a soup with many little fish bones, my husband explained. Mom, what's going on? He demanded. I didn't do anything. You must have misunderstood. My mother-in-law defended herself. Of course not. This meat and potatoes are terrible, my husband retorted. Here, try some. My husband offered the food to my father-in-law, but my mother-in-law intercepted, taking the plate. If it's that bad, you don't have to eat it anymore, she said. No, that's not what I meant. I'm asking why Brielle's food is so bad, my husband clarified. I don't have any idea, my mother-in-law feigned innocence. I think she did it, my husband whispered to me. Enough. It's unbelievable. You never let Brielle in the kitchen, and now this. My husband confronted his mother. I think you have something to do with this, he accused. Yeah, I think so too. I agreed, feeling a mix of frustration and sadness. Okay, I'm done. I'm never cooking again, I declared, feeling defeated. In the end, my mother-in-law neither admitted nor apologized for the situation. My husband took this as an opportunity to stop visiting his family, a decision we felt we had to make for our peace of mind. The rest of the day was relatively peaceful until I witnessed an unbelievable scene involving my mother-in-law. One day, while I was away on a business trip, I unexpectedly encountered her walking hand in hand with a much younger man. Shocked and confused, I followed them discreetly. They entered a cafe and sat beside each other, their faces close. Unable to comprehend what I was seeing, I started recording the scene discreetly. They left the cafe after about half an hour and disappeared into a nearby hotel. The next day, when I returned home and waited for the kids to go to bed, I finally mustered the courage to tell my husband what I had witnessed. Hey, you know what? You don't want to see your parents doing something shameful to you, I said, my heart heavy with the burden of what I had seen. I pondered whether to share what I'd seen with my husband, depending on how he reacted. Ultimately, I chose to delete the videos and pictures from yesterday if he didn't want to know. I don't care, he shrugged when I tentatively brought it up. You're okay with seeing something embarrassing done by your own parents? Then maybe I could learn something from it, he added. Confused, I replied, but it was your parents. Oh my God, was it my mom? He realized with a shock. Yeah, I guess so, I confirmed. What did she do to you? He asked, concerned. Nothing to me, I assured him, before explaining everything that had happened. Oh, seriously? He reacted in disbelief when I told him about the videos and pictures. Taking a deep breath, I handed him my phone. Let me see, he exclaimed as he scrolled through the images. Oh my God, that's disgusting. I can't watch my mom doing that. How old does she think she is? To my surprise, he wasn't as shocked as I expected. You're not shocked? I asked. No, not at all. I mean, it's not her first time, he admitted. What? When did this happen? I inquired, stunned. It happened a long time ago. She used to cheat because she was traveling a lot, or at least that's what she claimed. But my brother was still in middle school, he explained. Dad forgave her and they rebuilt the relationship. Oh, I see, I said, feeling a mix of emotions. Well, I guess they won't be rebuilding it anymore, he remarked grimly. Deciding to take action, I suggested, I have an agency look into it. Can I use the money on it? Of course it's worth it, he agreed. Thank you. I'll let you know how it goes, I promised. It took us a month to find an agency and get the results. My husband was stunned when he saw the report. Let's take the report to Mom, he suggested. What? Is that necessary? I hesitated. Why don't you just give it to your father and let him decide, he countered. That won't make us feel better, he insisted. Brielle, Mom did something bad to you, didn't she? Let's get her revenge. That's the only way I'll feel better. Touched by his support, I replied, I should do something for my dearest wife, shouldn't I? Oh, Asher. I sighed, feeling grateful for his understanding. To tell the truth, I wanted to see my mother-in-law lose her mind in front of me. I wanted to get back at her for everything she's done to me. Good job, Asher. I praised him. I'll tell my dad about this before we go. I don't want to confront him with the truth out of the blue, my husband decided. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, I agreed. So, we left our son at my parents' house for the weekend and headed to my husband's parents' house. When we arrived, my mother-in-law scolded me as usual, but I didn't care anymore because what she did to me, as long as I knew, was going to end today. The time to confront her with the evidence should have been during dinner, but my mother-in-law launched an unexpected attack from the start. My husband, my father-in-law, and I were all a little taken aback. "Let's start the meal," my mother-in-law said, smiling, but the three of us, including me, were frozen as we saw the smallest portions of food placed in front of us. "It doesn't look like my food, so no food for her," she declared with a sneer directed at me. I had just finished preparing dinner for the family, but I remembered that it was only for the family members, not the wives. Oh well, I thought to myself. My heart was filled with happiness as I looked at my husband and father-in-law, both nodding in agreement. It was time to speak up. "I'll just eat what I made," I said, trying to hide my disappointment. Then, as I rummaged through my bag, I found an envelope. "Mom, I found this," I said, handing it to my mother-in-law. "Oh, you can be clever sometimes," she remarked, accepting the envelope happily. But as she looked inside, her hands started shaking. "What's wrong?" I asked, concerned. "It's nothing," she replied unconvincingly. "Come on, let's see," my husband urged, taking the envelope from her. Inside was a report from an agency. "What's this?" My husband wondered aloud. "Looks like an older woman dating a younger man," he observed. "You should check the other side and the back too," I suggested. On the back, there were pictures of my mother-in-law with various young men. At first, I thought she was having an affair with just one of them, but the agency revealed that she had relationships with several young men. "You really don't learn, do you?" my husband exclaimed, shocked. "I can't believe all my hard work was wasted on someone like this," I added, feeling betrayed. "I'm divorcing you," my husband declared, his voice filled with anger. "Wait a minute, this isn't cheating, it's just for fun," my mother-in-law tried to defend herself. "You're not wasting that money on something like that. It's disgusting," my husband retorted. "And these guys are even younger than us," I added, feeling appalled. "By the way, including Charles and Thomas, we all know about this now." "We're cutting you off," my husband announced. "I'm cutting you off too," I chimed in. "Don't worry, all you have to do is accept it. I know you don't have enough money to pay me back," my husband continued, his tone stern. "Never show up in front of us again," I added firmly. "Wait a minute, it's not just a casual date. I was just thinking of exploring different worlds," my mother-in-law pleaded. "You go out to eat with another man sometimes, right, Brielle?" She turned to me. "No, not at all. I don't spend money on men who aren't my family. It's such a waste. I would rather spend it on Asher or Little John," I replied, feeling insulted. "Don't you do this to me. You're also a woman, aren't you?" my mother-in-law challenged. "Yeah, I am, but what's your point?" I shot back, feeling both angry and disappointed by her actions. "I'm saying it's never enough to just be a wife or a mother, isn't it?" my mother-in-law remarked. "That's disgusting," I replied, feeling insulted. "Then why don't you stay single?" she retorted. "I bet you would cheat sometime." "Don't insult Brielle. She's not like you. We all know," my husband interjected. "Well, it's a good opportunity for me to tell you something," my husband continued. "I was planning to divorce you when I retired. It's a good timing." "Huh?" my mother-in-law reacted, surprised. "I forgave you when I found out about your affair a long time ago. But you didn't learn from it and kept doing the same thing. I knew it, especially on the days you were out. Dinner would be frozen food. You didn't think I would know, did you?" my husband confronted her. "It's all your fault. You weren't with me. That's what you do. You blame everyone else," my mother-in-law shot back. "It's a miracle my sons turned out to be good people with this kind of mother," my husband added. "Yeah, that's because we three looked at you as a negative example," I chimed in. "I think you're the reason Charles and Thomas are still single. If you have a spouse like this, you're seriously screwed for life," my husband accused her. "Hey, oh sorry, my bad. This person was that spouse once," I pointed out. "This is a good start. Now get out of my house." I'm not giving you any of my retirement money, my husband declared. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to have half of it and my mother-in-law started, but my husband cut her off. Alimony could only be claimed from 3 years ago when you were cheating on me. It's going to be plenty of money. My mother-in-law paused, confused. Where is she going? She muttered to herself. She must have gone back to her parents' house. My husband speculated. After that, my mother-in-law never returned to our house, and they got divorced. She was left penniless. She went back to her parents' house, but now that the money was gone, she seemed cut off from the younger generation. She lived at home for a while, but my husband's grandparents made her work full-time. Eventually, she found a job at a supermarket near her parents' house. My father-in-law is a very generous man, and my mother-in-law was a fool to betray him. Now that she's gone, the family is in perfect harmony. My brother-in-law Charles and Thomas, who rarely visited before, started showing up often. Recently, they've even been talking about getting married. I feel happy for them. Everyone has a big smile on their face, and now I'm pregnant with my second child. I'm going to continue to put my family first in my life. It's upsetting to have a mother-in-law like that. It seems that people who have affairs often lose their minds. My father-in-law can finally enjoy his late life now. I hope he can live peacefully from now on. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel if you liked it. See you in the next video.